Hello and welcome to this deep dive presentation about the new ability to modify discharge dates in the Child Welfare module of Kurum Social Program Management version 702. In this presentation, we'll start by discussing the as-is scenario, that is, the state of the software prior to version 702. We'll then move on to an overview of the solution or enhancement, including screenshots and descriptions of the to-be scenario. In other words, the changes in version 702. And we'll finish by telling you where you can find more information about the updates. As part of an investigation and ongoing case, caseworkers record a child's removal from the home, dates of placement with one or more providers, and subsequent discharge when returned to the family home. In Kurum prior to version 702, if any of this data is incorrectly entered, caseworkers cannot modify or remove a discharge date or modify the dates of closed placements. If caseworkers cannot modify or remove a discharge date or modify the dates of closed placements, they are forced to use manual workarounds to perform the following actions: correct documentation of a child's home removal and placement history, and correct payment to providers. In this as-is scenario, a child welfare caseworker manages an ongoing case for a child who was removed from his parents' home on October 1st and has subsequently had frequent movement in and out of 3 different providers due to behavioral issues. The child's caseworker has attempted to record accurate placement information as the child's placement location has changed during the month, but accidentally entered a start date of October 4th for the placement with Yvette Fowler's foster care home. The caseworker needs to change the start date from October 4th to October 3rd. This will also result in an update of the end date of the previous placement with Toby Hatfield to October 3rd. However, the caseworker is unable to make this change because the edit option is inactive. Yvette Fowler will therefore be underpaid, and Toby Hatfield's foster care home will be overpaid. The caseworker then learns from a coworker that the child has been returned home to his parents and enters a discharge date of October 7th for the home removal. This results in an end date of October 7th for the current placement at the O'Connell foster care home. After updating the child's placement information, the caseworker learns that the child has actually not returned home and is still with the O'Connell foster care home. The caseworker is unable to correct this error, as the row-level action items for the home removal episode are no longer enabled. This is because the home removal record cannot be modified or removed after a discharge date has been entered. The caseworker will need to create a completely new home removal record in order to get the child placed with the O'Connell foster care home again. The creation of a new record results in an inaccurate picture of the child's home removal history. In version 702, a solution has been implemented where placement functionality now provides the following capabilities. The caseworker can modify or remove the discharge date of the home removal. When this occurs, reassessment is initiated, which results in over- or underpayment processing where applicable. The caseworker can modify the placement start date of a closed placement and can modify the start date of the current placement record to a date prior to the end date of the previous placement. In this scenario, the end date of the previous placement record is automatically updated, and reassessment is initiated, which results in over- or underpayment processing where applicable. This screenshot shows the Removals and Placements list page in version 702. The Edit option is now available for selection by the caseworker for the second placement with the Yvette Fowler provider. The Edit option enables the caseworker to open the Edit Placement modal dialog. The caseworker can then modify the placement start date as required. Thanks to this change, caseworkers no longer have to manually delete, then re-add the placements that occurred after the placement that needs to be updated. This screenshot shows the new action items available for a home removal record in Kurum version 702. The caseworker has two new options: Edit Discharge Date and Remove Discharge Date. The Remove Discharge Date option enables the caseworker to remove the discharge date for the home removal record, which will also remove the end date of the current placement record. Thanks to this change, caseworkers no longer have to manually create new home removals and placements for the child in order to correct provider payments. You can find more information about these updates in the IBM Knowledge Center for Curium SPM, specifically in the section labeled Curium Removal to Return, which is in the Overview of Curium Child Services section in the Curium Child Services Business Guide. This is IBM's standard legal disclaimer. And this concludes the presentation about the new ability to modify discharge dates in the Child Welfare module of Curium Social Program Management version 7.02. Thank you for watching.